Welcome into another episode of the Sunbelt Syndicate as we continue to preview the 2026 Sunbelt baseball season. All three of us are very happy to have some of the App State guys with us tonight, including Assistant Coach Britt Johnson, Joseph Zamora, and Jordan Fisher. Guys, welcome to the program. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, first of all, Coach, I think Marv alluded to this before we hit record, but I want to hear maybe further thoughts, and maybe Marv has a follow-up question on the early start to the season. You guys are often starting in Hickory or off the mountain in general. What are your thoughts personally on starting it a little bit later, maybe running into the summer a little longer?
I would be in 100%. I would be in for that. I think that especially for cold weather teams, Northeast, this year the Southeast. I think the ramp up period, especially for pitchers and position players, would just fit a lot better to be able to start at a warmer time and also give a little bit more time to get ready. You're seeing right now as you watch Twitter every day, it just seems like there's a lot of guys going down with minor muscle injuries, UCLs, all those kind of things in a ramp up period where you have to send guys home in December and hope. It's a whole lot easier if you can, if you can be there in control of it as a coach, with a strength coach, with the training staff, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously moving it later would allow for warmer weather and a lot, especially in a boon climate and some of the Northeast, a time where more fans may be apt to come out. Because honestly, when we hit about 50 degrees here, we have a lot of fans here every weekend, and 50 degrees here. I know you hear 50 degrees and people think, man, that's so cold. 50 degrees here, we're running around with short sleeves. I guess our blood changes or something, but it just feels so much better. And so I would absolutely be in favor if we moved the season back just a little bit and went into the summer.
Nice. Yeah, Jordan and Joseph, I'd like to get your thoughts, especially Jordan being a pitcher. Cold hands, feeling the ball, getting a grip. Your thoughts on playing in warmer weather and starting the season a little bit later.
Yeah, I've never experienced a season in college baseball where, we haven't had a few cold months here and there, or the first month of the season especially. And going to Hickory does help with that some, because we don't have that boon breeze up there. But to be honest, I think it would help a lot with, especially like Coach Jay was saying, the ramp up phase of our throwing programs, and just trying to get from, the end of the fall into December, wherever home is for all the pitchers. We're able to get it done. But once we get back in Boone, and obviously y'all have probably seen with this year, and as Coach Jay was saying, the Southeast being a brutal spot, at least right now for the snow. It's definitely been tough, but for other schools, we've done a great job with doing what we need to do and in a timely manner, and not really messing with any schedules for throwing programs. But I know that a lot of schools would struggle with that. So I'm just, blessed to go here and have the opportunity to go to the places that we go to preseason. But it is our weather, so, there's that.
Is it that big of an advantage, like for a team like Coastal, who can be outside constantly and doesn't have to go on the road for the first month? Is it that big of an advantage? I know you guys have the indoor and things like that, but you still got to go out and play baseball at the end of the day. But is it a huge factor?
I don't think so. For us, we don't use that excuse of playing in the code. Matter of fact, we want to play in the code. I think we play better in the code. So, I don't think that's an excuse for us. If we could get the work in, we'll put in the work in wherever we need to go. So, I like playing in the code. So.
Probably a little bit of home field advantage, right? You get some of those warm weather teams that come up on the mountain early in March, and they get off the bus and like, whoa, and you guys are completely used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said before, Coach Jay hammers this down all the time, but it is our weather, and Coastal being able to practice in the warmth, or whatever you want to call Myrtle Beach right now, for example, they still got to come up to Boone in the cold. So they'll definitely be in for it, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it comes to Boone early March, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of opposite for us. We even talk about this when it starts happening. When we make that first trip to a Texas or a Mississippi or somewhere, we're talking to our guys about, hey, we got to start hydrating. We're about to be extremely hot and sweat more than we have in quite some time. So it's kind of a give and take where we're going to feel that on one side when we go to a warmer weather. They're going to be colder when they come here, but obviously, if you had to choose, you would probably choose to be in that warmer weather. It's hard. It's a lot harder to acclimate to the cold than it is to the warm because that's what we're used to playing in anyway once the season gets good and going.
Absolutely. When you guys go to Hickory, now that's a natural grass playing surface unless it's changed, right? But I believe it's natural grass.
It is.
Is that a nice thing to start the year off on kind of a natural grass surface? I know you guys also like the turf aspect. Obviously, that's one of the reasons maybe you picked to play in Boone. But what is it like to start off on a minor league ballpark that's – I think the Crawdads put out a pretty good facility down there.
I don't mind it. I like playing in both the turf and the dirt. So we usually get ground balls before games. So I kind of fill out the field there. But I don't have a preference in playing the turf or field. So, yeah.
It's for sure something we talk about. Hickory does a really good job. So their field's not prepared to be played on in February. They don't have to prepare it to be played in February. So obviously they're thinking towards the April month when the minor league season starts. So when we get out there, it's dormant. We're playing on a brown field, which is a little bit different than what you're used to. But they keep it so tight and the grass is not growing that it really – and just a little bit more, obviously you're getting true hops and that kind of stuff. But I almost feel that way at Hickory too because things are so tight that it's not as much of a change as you would think.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, Jordan, as a pitcher, any different from you pushing off true dirt or the AstroTurf?
No, not at Hickory. I feel comfortable on that mound. I mean, they do a great job with the clay. I mean, it's a professional mound, so it's going to be top-tier clay and everything to have your foot on, but I mean, no preference really here either. Same with JoJo. Like, baseball's baseball. We just want to play it.
Very nice.
Wait, I want to jump in a little bit about the team this year. Doing a little research, and I think this is probably a true theme across all of college baseball, right? With the portal, the rosters are older, right? You guys, 4 graduate students, 10 seniors, 11 juniors. A lot of experience on the team. Just kind of talk about the depth that you guys have this year and kind of how you expect that senior leadership or that, more experienced leadership to help carry your season.
With all the new guys coming in, I feel like all of them just want to win. So we just all put in the work every day. As for position players, everybody, we're top tier. Everyone's competing for a spot right now. We have a really we're deep this year. So, and with us being seniors, I think we have a lot of leadership going with us. So,
yeah, I'll kind of piggyback off JoJo there. I mean, we got guys from all over the place, all different stages of college baseball, whether it be JUCO, D2 guys transferring to us, other D1 guys coming back to a D1 at App, all different stories. And I think it really just goes back to something we've been talking about in Bible study, our paths are all different. And we just kind of got to take every day and try to stack it as, give every day everything to every day and just let everything play how it's supposed to go. I know that we have a lot of guys, like JoJo said, that everyone wants to win. Everyone is extremely competitive. It's definitely the most competitive group I've ever been around, from all position players to all the pitchers. But specifically on the pitching side, I mean, the relationships that we're building with each other just help the team camaraderie and all sorts of aspects with our relationships with coaching staff and each other and our managers. I mean, everyone is tied into each other. And, I'm super excited for everybody.
So to give
off that a little bit. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I was going to say, to give you a little bit deeper insight than what the players probably don't get to see when you're recruiting the portal. Obviously, everybody's in for a different reason, and you have to be really, really careful to still protect your culture and your locker room with who you're bringing in. Yeah. So this year we were as pointed as we've ever been, and we are very, you've met Kermit, you've dealt with Kermit. we're just truth tellers. We tell guys all the time, we probably talk as many people out of coming to play for us as we do into coming to play for us, maybe more. And we were very, very pointed with those guys this year, and they knew exactly what we were looking for. If the answer on the phone with what are you looking for was immediately, I just want to come. I want to be the starting second baseman. We got JoJo on it. That guy's just out. Like he's already talking about himself. The guys that were talking about team and different things like that, things that they wanted from development to culture to different things like that. And we told them, and we've used this with our team a lot, so they've heard this. They don't know it because they weren't in the recruiting process, these two guys. But we just flat out told guys, if you are not in love with the game of baseball, you will be absolutely miserable playing at App State. We made it a point. Coach Smith asked some tough questions face-to-face with those guys to make sure that we were bringing the right guys in. Does that mean we're going to be perfect? It absolutely does not. Could there still be a bad apple that said the right things? Sure. But and these guys can answer it better than I have. I think they kind of just did. I don't feel like we've had that. Every single guy knew, like, okay, wherever you were playing, you're not just coming in and it's not just your position. You will come in and have a chance to compete just like every single guy on our team. Our guys know when they leave year after year. JoJo's been the starting second baseman for the last 2 years, but that does not mean that he's just coming in and he's going to be the starting second baseman again. You got to come in, you got to re-earn it every single year. And we explained that those guys quite thoroughly through the recruiting process to make sure that we were bringing the right guys in with what we already have. Because, yes, old does win. We're seeing that all over college athletics. You just watched Indiana football, one of the oldest teams there is, and they go out and win a national championship at a place where people would argue you shouldn't win a national championship. Wherever you are, you get the right guys and the right people in the locker room. But that's something we really, really pushed this year, was making sure that we had the right guys, because one bad portal addition can come in and throw things just all off kilter. So we were really we tried to be really thorough in what we were doing to make sure we had the right guys coming in with these kind of guys, because we already were an older team even without it. Yeah. And you still have to have your culture and your guys, and that's not going to change because of some great player. Like we told a lot of good players this year after the way they talked to us, you're out. Like, hey, appreciate the phone call, wish you the best somewhere else, but this is not the place for you.
We can kind of see that. We've had Caleb, we had the Caleb Crosses, we had the Braxtons, we had the St. Laurents, and then just meeting Jordan. I mean, and just being with JoJo just for a few minutes, these seem like genuinely great guys that represent the brand, they represent the mountain. And going off of that, JoJo, Jordan, like, who are the dudes? You know, if you're not an App fan and you're turning on the TV, Joe, who are we seeing on the infield, outfield on a day-to-day basis?
I would say Johnny, can throw in Cam Miller, Chuck, Tank, a new transfer guy. Just a lot of guys that go out there and give all their effort. So those are a couple guys that I can see other fans watching.
Who's coming out of the pen, Jordan?
Say on my end, I mean, some guys that compete like no other, that are going to give their all no matter what. I mean, Tanner Nolan's there, Ethan Wilson's there, Nick Dorito's there, Ren Watson's there, Jake Beatty's there. I mean, Connor Berezino's there, Gage Peterson's there, Logan Tippett's there. Yeah, we got a bunch of guys I'm excited to watch. Ren Watson. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody, but those off the top of my head. I mean, those are just guys you want to go to war with. So I'm excited for that.
Nice. We got a youngster that's making some headway before the season starts, and a kid named Nico Soul. What are you guys seeing out of the young kid that's literally my size? I'm about 6'2", 205, and this kid's coming out of high school almost the exact same size as me, almost a 40-year-old man. So what does this kid bring into the field as one of the younger guys?
I'll say he's an athlete. He'll go out there, whatever you want him to do, he's going to do. Shows in every day. every night in the weight room, puts in the work, doesn't complain. Very, very good kid, freshman. Good dude to be around. So I'm excited what he has in store for this year.
Yeah, to add a little bit to that, I think in recruiting, it's always funny. People go, Coach, how do you think your recruiting class is? And if I think it's bad, we're probably in a lot of trouble. That's always the question. And I'm always like, I would hope it's pretty good or we're going to be in trouble. There's a lot of times that things happen in recruiting and it's things maybe you don't see this quickly. We knew that Nico, like JoJo just said, is a really, really good athlete, a track athlete. When you watch him run, he runs different than a lot of our guys because he knows how to run, where he was a track athlete. And there's some electricity that comes out of his body that we thought was there that we didn't know if he would get to it as quickly as he had. I think the time I realized, like, oh shoot, this might be something, was our very first lift. And it's always funny. All the guys will tell you how hard they lift when they're by themselves at home. And then they come in and they're with their boys that very first lift, and the next day nobody can walk. But they've been lifting the whole summer. They just have not lifted the way that it is when you're doing it with your teammates. And Nico, the day after his first lift, couldn't walk. But watching him the day before, I think he had like 435 on the squat rack, and he was just repping it out. And he was going as lower than he should be going. And I was like, okay, this dude's got a little something to him where he's going to try to show these guys who he is from day one. And then obviously, if you watch our player development page on Twitter, he did some things to baseballs this year, especially to the backside, that quite honestly, I've never seen at Appalachian State. Obviously, you got a guy like Banks Tolley who hits 26 home runs and has a lot of power. Banks never hit a ball like that backside. Banks had a lot of poolside power, could get to the middle of the field. Nico just has some electricity in his body that has a chance to be very, very special. And he's going to be like any other freshman. You're going to have to get through. He's going to go through some adversity. He's gone through some adversity in the fall. He's gone through some adversity in the spring. We got good pitchers. So luckily, he had some good days that obviously we saw that, you're probably referring to the East Carolina game where he hits 2 home runs, I think in the first 2 innings, if I'm not mistaken. And the hype train starts. But he had been punched in the mouth a little bit to that point in the fall. And he's been punched in the mouth a little bit this spring. And this weekend on Sunday might have been his best day that he's had, and he didn't even have a hit to show for it. He hit some balls really hard. Yeah. So it's kind of good from a coaching perspective to know that some of that adversity that will hit has already hit a little bit, because our pitchers have done a pretty good job against him at times. Sure, he's won some battles, but he's had to really fight this fall and this spring, and it hadn't just been easy for him. But he's had some really good moments.
Coach, I got a kind of follow-up question to that, and it's kind of on recruiting and what we talked about, like old wins, right? So how do you take a kid like him that you kind of see flashes and you're like, man, this kid could be great, right? But you know that older wins, how do you balance out in recruiting, bringing in a freshman that might need a little bit of time versus going into the portal, maybe it's a JUCO guy or a guy that's already played D1 baseball, and say, hey, he's already had that adversity. He's already faced, let's face it, sunbelt's got some really good arms in it. How do you balance recruiting a high school kid versus, grabbing a kid out of the portal to help him bring it in and create a program and have the right culture?
Yeah, so first of all, we will never stop recruiting freshmen. That's what college was designed for. You bring freshmen in to play for you and to play for you for 4 years. Like that was the design of college athletics until very recently. But one of the things we have learned through the portal process is so many people are just going old. We have been able to get as good a freshman or better than maybe we've ever been able to get as a group. Yeah. Nico, you'll hear another name very soon as we start playing, and Grant Gardner, this gonna do some really good things for us, and Colton Denton, Tate Jensen, those are the guys from this year. Looking ahead to next year's class, I obviously can't talk about any of those guys through NCAA rules, but I think we've been able to get some freshmen that are just really, really good players that a lot of times in the past may not have come to App State.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, because we're getting SEC commits that have been dropped, ACC commits that have been dropped, players that we'll sit in our office and go, man, I'd love to get that guy. And maybe he wouldn't take our phone call. We can now get those guys, and we're not scared to go get them. We're not scared to play freshmen if freshmen can play, because, like I said earlier, the best player is just going to play. And but we've been able to get some really good freshmen over the last few years, and we will never go away from recruiting freshmen at Appalachian State. There will be a fine line between portal, JUCO, and freshmen, but bread and butter. I mean, it was designed for freshmen to come to college and hopefully stay with you for 4 years.
Yeah. I think so.
You worry about that 4 years, about keeping them for 4?
Literally, Coach Smith will talk about this all the time with us. We worry about 9 months at a time, because it's nothing that you can worry about or you can think about, or you're always recruiting. Recruiting never stops. It's a nonstop process. You're trying to get the best players. I was texting with the coach earlier today, and he goes, what position are you looking for? And I said, your best player. Like, it's simple. Like, it's not position specific. If I had my way, every single outfielder would have played center field, and every single infielder would have been a shortstop. JoJo can tell you, I brought our infield together one year, and I was just like, hey, every single one of you has been a shortstop your entire life. I love it that way. That means you have athleticism to go play somewhere else. Normally, your best outfielders are your center fielders, right? They're the guys that can run and go get it. Obviously, you got to have the power aspect and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's just who we are. We do not worry about next year or the year after. We are going to pour our heart and soul into those guys for 9 months to make them as good a baseball player as we can, but also show them what it looks like to be a good husband, what it looks like to be a good father, all of that kind of stuff. Coach Smith preaches that. My kids have been in the dugout just about every scrimmage that we've had in Boone. That hasn't been many, but they're in the dugout. My wife's going to be there. His wife's going to be there. When we say it's a family environment, it's not just like, oh, this is cool for a podcast. It's a family environment. These guys can tell you our families are extremely involved.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Something for you guys real fast. Oh, well, this is really for Dom and Marv. Last night we got off the pod with the guys from Louisiana, and just piggybacking what you just said, Coach. It's like, Dom put these fillers out for all teams, and so far we've just had a couple. We've had Troy, Louisiana, and you guys, and each time, man, we get off this podcast, we're like, man, that right there was just oozing App State baseball. Just listening to you talk, listen to Jordan, listen to JoJo, like, you bleed black and gold. Like, when we got off that pod with Louisiana last night, we're like, holy smokes, Coach Tibb, that is the guy I would want to coach my son right there. And listen to you, Coach Brett, I mean, that's what it's about, man. Like, you, JoJo, you, Jordan, I mean, you guys are in a very special place, man. Like, very special place. Like, we love hearing about App State baseball. We love hearing about all these different teams. But when you sit there and pour your heart and soul on a podcast about your baseball team, it shows, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I mean, and to hear that with Coach Tibb, like, there is legit baseball in this league. There are legit coaches in this league, legit programs, legit players. Like, when people at App State want to talk about playing at the highest level, being at the highest level, we're in it.
This is it.
Might not have the Power 4 logo or name. Sunbelt baseball is as high level of baseball as you can get. And I think some of the fans do realize that there's not many multi-bid leagues in the Sunbelt. We are a multi-bid league year in and year out. Troy should have probably been in the regionals last year. There's some really, really, really special players, special coaches, and special programs, and you never get a chance to take a breath in this league.
Yeah, hey, that's a phenomenal segue, and I was going to kind of lead into that, and I'll let JoJo and Jordan talk about it. But you talk about the quality of baseball in the Sun Belt. We always say on this podcast, the Sun Belt is not a mid-major conference. This is a power conference. 21 guys drafted last year, 11 in the first 9 rounds. Obviously, what Coastal made the run to the national championship. multiple teams hosting regionals, 4 bids the past couple of years. Just Joseph, talk about the arms that you see in this league, and then Jordan, as a pitcher, talk about the guys you got to pitch against, because like Coach said, you can't take a series off, you can't take a game off, you can't take an at-bat off. I mean, this is big-time baseball.
Pitchers wise, yeah, every weekend we're going to face the top dude. Every team, I feel like, has really good arms. There's not one team that you're going into the weekend like, their pitching staff is not that good. So, I think the sunbelt is a powerful conference this year, and our first conference series is against first rounders, so that'll be fun. And last year we faced a couple first rounders, so I'm excited for this year and see the arms we got.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll hit on the pitching side now. Like you guys said, like JoJo hit on, like Mr. Dickens hit on, like you can't take a series off, you can't take an at-bat off, you can't take a pitch off, to be honest. This game is, like everyone says, a game of failure, but it's suffocating for a pitcher if you're not ready every pitch. And I think that's obviously for the Sunbelt, it's top-tier baseball in the country. And just – not just for us, but for everyone in the Sunbelt. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter who you're facing. It doesn't matter what they're ranked. None of the numbers matter. You're going to have good baseball every weekend, and just being prepared. And, I'm excited for us because we got a bunch of guys and a lot of coaches and people involved that are ready to go all in and just ready to go. So.
Nice. Well, before you get into that Sunbelt schedule, you have an out-of-conference slate that includes 8 teams within the state of North Carolina itself. You throw in Presbyterian, and I think that might be it to round out the South Carolina aspect. So you really don't have any real big travels to start out with. What does that do for you guys? I mean, Coach, first of all, I'll start with you, actually. Some of the assistant coaches are putting these schedules together. How much do you have to do with putting the schedule itself together with out-of-conference games specifically?
Most of it's Coach Smith, but I have in the last couple of years been a little more involved in it. And just to kind of give y'all a snapshot of the reason we do what we do, I've had a lot of fans be like, why are y'all playing 3 teams at 3 different sites and, all of this kind of stuff. And, first of all, the travel in our league is tough. We don't have the easiest airport to get to. So we're driving 2 hours, sitting for 2 hours, flying for 2 hours, and a lot of times getting off a bus and driving for 2 more. So we don't know our weather, or we try to get every game in Boone, but you don't know. So, and having the footprint in Hickory with the campus in Hickory, we are trying everything we can year in and year out. Got it again next year for the first 2 series, where we are set to play in Hickory. We love playing there. They roll the red carpet out for us like we are the Crawdads, and they do a great job of hosting us. Kind of the picture behind the whole Queens, A&T, Southern Illinois, 3 different sites, knowing that we have so much travel, getting home on a Saturday and being able to put our head down in our own bed to play on Sunday at home, and then not be getting home late Sunday night. We're trying to take some travel off of us, which helps us in that. We'll still go do it and be on the road Thursday night and Friday night. But Saturday night, we'll be able to lay down in our own bed before we get ready to go play on Sunday. And also what that has done by playing a away, a neutral, and a home, it gives us the most RPI points that we can possibly get on a weekend that is not just 3 away or 3 at home. So when we sat down with Coach Smith and Coach Blackman, and we were all sitting around talking about it, and at the time we knew we were hiring Coach McLemore, but he wasn't here. We're sending it out to him. He was actually at Southern Illinois. We're sitting there. We're just like, man, we can get a road game. We can get a neutral site game, which are more RPI points than a home game. And then we can get a home game. Like, let's do this like this. And we're also trying to play in our footprint of North Carolina to allow our fans to be able to see us. Because when we start taking off to Troy and Southern Miss and all these places, outside of parents, it's hard for your fans to go see you. So we are trying to do as much as we can. One, to just cut down on the travel, but two, to give our fans that want to be able to see us in Greensboro, Charlotte, different places where are kind of hubs for our alumni to be able to do that.
Yeah. Marv and I went 2 years ago, Marv, when you guys played Duke in Durham, since it was kind of local to us. So that's nice. We Marv and I specifically appreciate that. Obviously, that's the opposite for what Seth usually gets to deal with, going 10 minutes from his house to get down there. But yeah, it was a fun. I mean, it wasn't the greatest game for us in the end, but it was nice to just be able to come see, because Marv and I would have 3-hour-ish drives to get up the mountain to see a game, and that's not going to happen on a weekday. So yeah, I love the fact that you guys are doing. In fact, Coastal Carolina is playing Wake Forest in Durham, of all places. I'm not sure how that neutral site was agreed upon, but that'd be interesting, because that's right around the corner from me here. But Jordan, JoJo, what game or series are you kind of specifically looking at as the one you've got circled the most, or one you're excited for some other reason? Maybe you know somebody on the other team or something. Jordan, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think Duke is always a big one for me. My grandfather went to Duke. He passed away last year, so I think that one's one that always hits home for me.
That's a good reason. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Canisius, just because I'm excited for this year's team, and just going out for the first series, seeing what we got is gonna be fun. And also Duke, ETSU, High Point, and Wake are always like good midweek games that I always look forward to playing in.
Nice. Coach, is there one that sticks out to you specifically?
Coach Britt, real fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like JoJo, and this probably sounds so cliche, and it's not. Opening day should be a national holiday. And there's no better feeling than opening day, and it's every single year. It's an adult's Christmas and Santa Claus. And so, yes, I'm absolutely fired up for February the 13th on a Friday the 13th, to go out and play Canisius. I mean, just that feeling of that opening day game is just a feeling that's not replicated the rest of the year. Obviously, you get up for games, but it's just that first game feeling is just different.
Seth, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, Coach. I mean, it's kind of an obvious question, but I mean, year in, year out, you have your Coastals, you have your Southern Misses, and that's almost a given almost. If you're looking at a schedule and you're saying, all right, we got to win X amount of games to get into a regional, and you're looking at your non-conference, you're looking at is there something in your head saying we got to get to so many wins, we got to win so many non-conference? I mean, are you just, you're just trying to win as much as you can? Is that, is there a theory to it?
Yeah, you're obviously trying to win as much as you can. And I have people ask me all the time, like, hey, why aren't you playing a non-conference series at Tennessee or Georgia or North Carolina or whatever the case may be? That would be so cool. And it's because of what I talked about earlier. We don't necessarily have to do that because our league is so good. We have a chance to get it's all about RPI points. We're going to, and winning games, obviously, but winning games and then winning in your league, a league that is very, very good. And if you go look at what we're going to face this year, a regional last year, we're going to face another team that probably should have been in a regional. You're going to face. I mean, there's literally no days off. There's 0 days off in this league, and we've got a chance to get RPI points. Obviously, you get more if you win. But no, we don't have like we're setting out to go win 35, 40 games, whatever the case may be, because every year is different. Troy won those games last year and didn't make it.
Yeah, 39 wins, yeah.
There's not a number. You just have to continue stacking the wins, continue stacking the series wins. Yeah. And that's another one that you could go and fight about. Like, Troy didn't lose a series to the last series of the year.
Yeah.
And didn't make a regional.
Mark, give him the stat.
Yeah, so Troy, we looked it up when we were talking to them last night. Obviously, got swept by Southern Miss in the last series, won 9 out of 10 conference series. But here's the crazy part. 6 times they had a chance to sweep. They lost the Sunday game 6 times, and we were talking to them last night, like, what does a couple of those do for you?
Three wins year in.
Yeah. And it was coming from a league like ours that had 4.
So no, to answer your question, there's no number of wins. You just got to keep winning games.
Yeah. So talking about conference, obviously some big names on there, and kind of a follow-up question to the first one. And we know every series matters, right? But for you guys, is there a team that you're looking forward to playing because you like the stadium or the food's great or, the competition is going to be phenomenal? Is there a away series that you're most looking forward to? And is there someone that you're looking forward to having come to Boone?
I'm excited for Coastal to come to Boone for sure. But I think I'm most excited to go to Southern Miss for the first time. I'm excited for that atmosphere, and I'm excited to be against that atmosphere.
For me, I would say Coastal for home also, and Southern Miss and Troy, just because I haven't been to both of those places, and I've heard they have a good atmosphere, so it'll be fun playing in those stadiums.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off Troy too. Going to Troy is always a good one, and yeah, Coach Jay knows the last 5 years have been a pretty good rivalry with Troy, so that'll be good.
Coach, so there's some good games in that tournament, right? There's some good games in that tournament every year.
Good games in the tournament, yeah. Good games everywhere, really, against Troy.
Yeah.
Coach, I know is there a away venue that you go there and you see the atmosphere and you're like, man, this is pretty special?
So, Louisiana, where we have gone in the past, one of the coolest things ever before I had children, I actually my wife went, and that place is special. Looking forward to going to Southern Miss. Obviously, we've never been there since they've been a part of the league. The last time I was at Southern Miss was actually as a football player at East Carolina, and I was in a dog pile, but it was for a football overtime win. And before that game, being a long snapper, everybody's getting ready, and I probably might get in trouble years ago if this had been known, but the specialist snuck over to the baseball stadium. And before the game started, you just see that and you start thinking about the trucks in the outfield and all that kind of stuff. Just going to be a really cool environment for our guys to get to go play in. And I mean, that's what you want to do as a player. You want to play in great environments on the road. Like it's an absolute blast, and it's a blast for a coach too. But I mean, there's something literally about all these places when you talk about food, facility, different things. There's something about all of them that you're just like, man, that's really cool. I'm excited to go back there.
All right. So one thing we hear about consistently is road trips to Louisiana, the Louisiana Cooking Club. I hear they serve it up really good after the games.
Amazing. As the guy on this pod that probably eats the best of the three of us, we make sure that that the Cajun Cooking Club. So they feed you on Friday night.
Okay.
They feed every team that comes in for free, which is really cool. And then you can choose to eat the next 2 nights if you want to, next 2 games. And we make sure that we always do that. And I'm always last in line on Sunday when they're trying to get rid of everything. And I might have a chicken quarter, a ribeye, and short pasta. You don't know, but it's the real deal.
Nice.
Coach, I'm gonna call your bluff. Name one good thing about going to Georgia State.
So I love their head coach. I love getting to go see Coach Strom. My dad was a school bus and traffic safety guy for North Carolina. So when I ride in and see the yellow school buses, I love it. And this is serious. This is serious. One of the coolest things about that place is when they tore down Fulton County Stadium, the previous coach went and took all the plywood from Fulton County Stadium and put their fence not symmetric at all. And I think it's really cool that you're out there running into the walls that some of the Atlanta Braves played in, and it's not even at the stadium where they were.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and starting next year, they're going to have one of the best facilities in the conference because it's going to be brand new. You've got
a nice one coming.
Brand new facility. Yeah, ODU is going to have one. So like you said, this isn't even just the talent on the field. The entire conference takes literally the foundation of where they're playing baseball physically very seriously and are pumping money into these programs, which, again, keeps this conference elevated above what we deem other mid-major conferences. Interesting aspect that you guys talked about Louisiana. All of them said they were really looking forward to making the trip to Boone this year.
Yeah.
So, your challenge could be to not make it as enjoyable for them as possible. But they are looking forward to coming up the mountain, just as App usually probably looks forward to going down there and tasting all the Cajun cooking that they have to offer. So really interesting aspect there. One little question, Georgia Southern has been a historic rival for App in a number of sports. Does that kind of lessen when you get to baseball, or is there still kind of some type of rivalry there? I'll start with Jordan and then go to JoJo, and then Coach, I'll have you finish. If there's kind of some heat there, or maybe somebody else is kind of taking the mantle on the heat when it comes to baseball.
I don't think there's any dismiss of any heat. I think it's all there for sure, especially I feel like we've got a few rivals, especially since I've been here. And some of the guys that I played with when I was a freshman and a sophomore, a few of them really hated Georgia State. So, I got on that bandwagon too. So then we had some super close games with Troy that got pretty heated there. So, Troy's up there too. Coastal's up there too. Southern Miss has made their way too. So, I'm not going to say anyone is above anyone in the rivalry, but Georgia Southern is for sure still up there.
Yeah, I could agree with Fish. I heard a couple stories when I first got here about Georgia Southern. So I think there's a rivalry there. And the last 2 years, we've had really good games against them. So I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think Fish probably just hit it right. When we first got here, and I've been here for 10 years, obviously, you heard Georgia Southern, Georgia Southern, Georgia Southern. As we have improved as a baseball program, it's kind of the same deal as football. If you were to ask people who's App State's football rival, well, it's Coastal and it's JMU and it's Marshall and it's Georgia Southern, and everybody's a rival of App State. Yeah. And it's got to the point now that we have improved ourselves on the baseball field where you literally walk into almost every weekend and there's some kind of rivalry. Like you would have never thought, like, oh, you're going to have a really good rivalry with Troy. Well, it's turned into that. It's probably good that we didn't play each other last year, just to get a year off. It's not like we hate each other. Or anything like that. Like it's just a spirited bunch of dudes, bunch of alpha males that are just out there competing their rear ends off. And that's the way it is with a lot of programs. You would have never thought Southern Miss. Well, we're trying to get to I think it was 2 straight conference championships, and Southern Miss is the team there waiting on us. So we beat them one game, they turn around and beat us. They eliminate us 2 years in a row to keep us from one of our goals. And so, yeah, it starts becoming that. Last year it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but Southern Miss came to Boone. People forget about this. We had 12 games left in the season, and we were 2 games out of first place, and we had Southern Miss and Coastal back-to-back weeks. Yeah. And it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. We lost 6 games to 2 teams that hosted a regional, one that played in the national championship. But it was the first time in our program that we were knocking on the door of being at the top of the league, and we had to go through the top to get there. We didn't. But it was that's kind of like that first step of like, okay, we are in there with the big boys, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
And Coastal was ready for us. We had beaten them 3 out of 4 the year before.
Yep.
So they came
and
out
knocked them out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's right. And it was nice. Like they came out with a different energy against us this year, and they were really good. So you even feel it reciprocated, and it's not just App State to everybody else.
Love it. I love it. We joked about making a T-shirt that said every week is hate week in the sunbelt in a fun and endearing, but also kind of serious way. Because I think it fits for all sports. Like you just said, you're talking about football, basketball, and baseball. It's there every week. Like you said, this is what the SEC was built on, right? They hate each other every time. It doesn't matter. They don't have to have that one rival that gets them up. They get up every single week for whoever they're playing. And that's what I feel like the Sun Belt has as well. So I love that aspect of what you guys just said.
Basketball team gets on the road and goes to Troy and wins by 22 the other night. And it's the first time they've done it in 6 years. South Alabama and Troy tomorrow night's a big game in Holmes.
Yeah.
And we're going to all be there. Yeah, wear gold. That's right. We're going to all be there ready to go tomorrow night because we're going to go support everybody else. We talked about bleeding black and gold. Like, we don't miss other team sports if we can be there. And
right.
So tomorrow night's another big one. Like, South Alabama is a rival of App State basketball, you know? So, and it is. Every game's just so big.
Yeah, absolutely. Marv, you want to ask your question, and then we'll get to the that final one for me?
Yeah, so all of us have kids. All of our kids play sports. My kids are in love with the game of baseball, and they all listen to the podcast. So I ask this to every player that comes on here, and Coach, I'd love to get your input on this. Obviously every kid grows up playing baseball. I want to play D1 baseball. I want to get drafted. I want to make it to the show, out playing home run derby in the backyard like it's Game 7 of the World Series. If you guys could go back and talk to your 10, 12-year-old selves and give yourself the best piece of advice to help you get to the Division I baseball level and then have the potential to continue your career, what would that one piece of advice be?
I'll say bet on yourself, be yourself, and don't lose sight of God.
There you go.
I'll say keep faith in God, do good in academics, and never give up.
Coach, you got young kids. If they have aspirations of, and it doesn't even have to be baseball, right? What would the best piece of advice that you could give a kid that wants to further their athletic career?
That they need to be the absolute best teammate that they can possibly be. They need to be as excited about somebody else's success as theirs. And that it's not a cliche, the whole when you're not working, somebody else is. This is a game and a sport where if you are not putting in the work, you will be bypassed. And a big part of that is not just the batting cage or taking ground balls or long tossing. A big part of that is the weight room. And now with the portal being here and you're talking about old wins, you better be an 18-year-old coming out of high school that is strong physically.
Makes sense. We're seeing that for sure, even on your guys' team right now. We're going to end here on a fun one. So we've got your season about to ramp up, and it's just around the corner. We also have the Olympics right around the corner. You guys probably aren't going to be able to take in a ton of this, right, with your schedule that's about to start up and how busy you're going to be. But if you could compete or wanted to compete in the Winter Olympics, which sport would you pick? I'm going to let JoJo go last. He's from Miami. It's like he might need the most time to figure out what winter sport he's going to participate in. I'll start at the top with Coach. And, guys, I'm interested to see what he'd pick here.
So I'm going to use a little bit of common sense in my pick as well for my athleticism. If I could pick anything and I could actually run to keep up, I'd love to ride in a bobsled. If they could push me in the bobsled to start and I never had to run beside it, I'd love to ride in it and see what it's all about. But for my stature and athleticism at this point in my life, I'd probably have to be a curler.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Jordan?
Out of all these, I probably have to go with hockey. I think I have the size. I think I might have to put on a few more LBs. But other than that, I'd be ready to hit somebody for sure.
Have you played? Have you put the skates on before?
I have definitely skated, but I've never played like real hockey.
Nice. All right. I want. Now I'm really interested. The Miami guy is about to give us his winter sport activity, so I can't wait to hear this one.
I'm going to say snowboarding just because I've never been snowboarding. It's a fun sport to learn, so I'll say snowboarding for sure. Or skiing and snowboarding.
JoJo, 3 years on the mountain. You got 3 mountains right there. You've never been?
I've been scared to get injured, so.
Good point.
Good answer.
I'm waiting to the off season. So, yeah.
Yeah. The off season when there's no more snow anymore, though.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh man. Well, I love those answers, guys. I told somebody last night that I can't wait for someone to pick like figure skating and catch me totally off guard because that's going to be an enjoyable answer. We haven't had it yet, but we have had 2 hockey ones. I'm a big hockey guy myself, so I love to hear that answer. Guys, guys, tell the people where they can find you on socials before you get out of here too, because there's going to be some people that love this episode and want to follow you guys along your playing journey.
You want me to get it?
I can pull them up real quick. I don't know off the top.
You probably know better on the Instagram world than I do. I don't have all that Instagram.
Yeah, my Instagram is Jordan Fisher 09.
All my socials are Joseph Zamora with 2 A's at the end, so you can find me there on all my socials.
My socials.
That's a positive to having a name like that. You don't have many people that already have your username.
Yeah, so you might as well just
is
drop
about
your
as
phone
pointless
number.
as any social you've seen, unless you want to see a bunch of retweets of App State scores. But I'm baseball Britt, but I do want to give out. If you're getting on Twitter, I guess it's the same on Instagram. I don't know how this works, but at baseball. And then one of the places that we're starting to put out a lot of information, if you kind of want to inside look at App State baseball, from fueling, nutrition, metrics of what we're doing, App State baseball player development. And I guess the Twitter is App Baseball PDev, at Baseball PDev. That's where you can kind of go. Heck, we just the most recent thing is seeing our smoothie station that we just had. Thank you. I guess I'll throw out a plug here, but thank you to our administration who allowed us to go down to Savannah, Georgia this week to practice. We haven't seen the baseball field in quite some time, so we were actually able to go. We started off in Charlotte at Mountain Island Charter on Friday, then continued trekking down to Savannah this past weekend, and we're able to play I think 18 more innings there. And just appreciate the administration making that a priority to make sure that we were able to get out and practice this week, because we had a chance to be, not an excuse won't ever be, but we had a chance to be far behind as far as being cooped up in the pitching lab and the batting side of things, the batting cages, when we don't have the so field, right? So we're not able to get in there and do that kind of thing. So being able to get down to Mountain Island Charter and Richmond Hill High School, a new $130 million high school down in Georgia that was elite, and both of those teams, both of those coaching staffs just welcomed us with open arms. Appreciate the support from our administration to allow us to go do that and spend that kind of money to go practice. Just shows you the kind of commitment that we have from the top.
Hey, Coach, awesome. One last question. If you've got a kid that's watching this podcast that maybe isn't on the radar, or maybe they live far away and they say, hey, App State baseball sounds like a brand that I want to be a part of, how do they reach out to the coaches and get recruited? To hit you up on Instagram, Twitter? Is that kind of the best way for them to do it?
I don't have Instagram, but Twitter, I get Twitter DMs quite often. Send us an email. I wish I could give a recruiting seminar on what to put and what not to put on an email. We don't need the whole story of I started playing T-ball when I was 6. Like, got it. Just give us something to let us know that you're interested. Year, height, weight, position, and then maybe some film. But the film doesn't need to be, hey, I hit a home run and 30 seconds of it, she running around the bases. Give us a little bit more, with just kind of some measurables of that kid, because obviously this is a sport that we look for tools. So,
yeah.
Well, this was awesome, guys. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to the start of the season. Best of luck as we get going here, and thanks again for being a part of this before the season kicks off.
Yeah, man, thank y'all for having us.
Yeah, thank you for all you do for Sunbelt Athletics, not just App State.
Appreciate it.